Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today to just share some important information regarding Achieve 3000. We'd like to look at data-informed planning and instruction. We're going to talk about your skills report on Achieve 3000, which identifies key reading skills to reinforce instruction. Second, we're going to talk about Lexile report and understand and monitor the Lexile growth. Third, standards report. This is where we zoom in on the TEKS and reinforce them. Finally, the importance of teacher modeling, go slow to go fast, and plan. And 5, student expectations, the Career Center goal settings for your students. What you have here is an example of your performance on reading skills. One of the pieces that remember that we need to really focus in on when we talk about Achieve 3000. When you assign articles, you can look at this particular report to really zone in on what are the students doing when they read. For example, when they compare and contrast, when they have cause and effect within the article, draw conclusions, main idea, etc. This report can help you zero in on each of these situations when the student is developing their reading. What you would do is identify the plus sign. That is an article that has been assigned, and those are questions that are associated to this particular reading skill on that activity. You are then able to see your students individually and then assign additional support that you might need for that particular skill depending on the student. Hence, your differentiation of instruction on reading skills is possible. Next, remember that we want to identify the 5 steps. We want to make sure the students understand the before reading poll, the article, activity, after reading poll, and thought question. These processes right now should be done under your supervision. It's better to go slow to go fast. So make sure students are involved in really thinking about what they do as they focus in and do those activity questions. Primarily, we want to consider that we would like them to make sure and annotate and identify the key pieces within those articles. Remember that the MEETS Lexile for a freshman is 1080 and 1180. This is the zone where your freshman might be at MEETS. So anywhere above that, of course, you have the developing Lexiles. If we continue to look, this is for 10th grade. These are the MEETS Lexile levels for 10th grade. Here is 11th grade. 1280 Lexile and 1380 Lexile. And it remains about the same for your senior in your Lit Genres course, a 1280 or a 1380 Lexile. Again, it is so important to have students work through these pieces, annotate, and identify the key components of each one of those 5 steps before you actually allow them to do this on their own. This is your How Are My Students Performing on Standards report, and this one helps us isolate key TEKS that we are identifying within our articles. Very similar to your skills report, or your reading skills report, I should say. This one also identifies the TEK. This is for 10th grade. It'll identify the TEK, and then it'll identify where is a mastery demonstrated, where is additional practice recommended, etc. You can, again, drop the little plus sign, and you will find names of students, and you will be able to isolate what should you assign in addition to support this student's development on that particular TEK. One of the key factors in being successful on Achieve 3000 is the student goal setting. And remember, we think about the Lexile report and understanding, using that Lexile tracker, and teacher modeling. Those are huge expectations and important tools. Student expectations need to be well established, and then we need to really think about those language targets that we need to meet as a teacher with our students. This is your College and Career Readiness Lexile tracker that can be readily found on Achieve 3000. This is the piece that gives you an idea of how the Smart Engine on your Achieve 3000 program develops Lexile. This is the place to look when you need to determine where the student lies in terms of grade, whether the student falls below, approaches, meets, or exceeds. in terms of their Lexile. Notice that it says not on track and on track. Very, very useful tool and supportive tool to help students understand where they need to really focus in their energy to develop their Lexile. This is a snapshot of the career path and the Career Center, as you well know, that students have in their view. This is what it looks like as a student. They can go into the career path and identify these wonderful graphs that give us an inclination as to how they are doing on their Lexile development. This is so important to set the pace and set the standard for them as they're learning to navigate Achieve 3000 in terms of how is this going to support my future? What am I going to be using this information to do for myself? So setting those goals in conjunction with the posters that you all have, that you utilize in your classrooms or even in your virtual classroom to identify 75 or better on articles is going to be huge and motivational for students. This is what it looks like once we actually punch into the little dots, the little circles that you see within the graph. If you notice here, I've highlighted that particular dot, and the current Lexile here for this student would be 1275 Lexile. These are the articles so far that are under the student's belt, and this is of course a demo, but this is something that you can definitely look into as you're working through Achieve 3000 with your kids. Each of the articles are going to be listed and their score. And so this is where they can find, are they on track? Is my growth plan accurate? Is it taking me to where I want to be? And they can also set Lexile milestones for themselves as they're moving through. Very, very helpful to motivate and to keep that positive reinforcement for students. Again, we have these cards available. This is the way to maximize, right, literacy development during each of the 5 steps to help ensure college and career readiness. This is the teacher card, and this is something that you can use to just reinforce your understanding of what you need to do with each of these 5 steps. There is a student-friendly version of this, a particular card, and you can find it on Achieve 3000. It's a great resource. You can use it to reference for yourself and also support your kids. And finally, there are lesson plan models and templates that we have shared with you prior. This is a great way to really hone in and think about, what do I do with my articles and how am I reading my articles from day to day? We have said that at least 2 to 3 articles a week is great to improve the Lexile and to push the Lexile. If right now we're doing 2 articles a week, that's fantastic. But what we do with those articles is what we really need to think about. When we are planning and structuring what the students are doing, we want to think about and consider the time allotment for each one of the components. We want to think about what is actually going to happen when we release them to independent work. Right now, like we said before, it's better to go slow to go fast. So really consider looking at these sample lesson plans to give you a starting point or to give you a place to further your instruction and support for yourself. Under each of these particular sections, you will find links to videos, to more professional development, key recommendations, etc., to support you as you're moving through and really mapping out for yourself what you want your students to be doing in order for them to be successful on Achieve 3000. So this brings us to the culminating piece of this short video. I hope that this is helpful to help you understand some of the key components of what we need you all to be focusing on right now currently with your Achieve 3000 and your students. If at any point you need us or need any more support, please feel free to contact at any point. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.